Hello everybody, welcome. Well, we made that teapot, didn't we, in the other clip. You know, the 3 parts, the 2 pound body, and then the ½ pound lid and ½ pound spout. Now I've got them here in front of me on the wheel head. What we need to do is put them together. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just getting myself prepared here for that. What do I need? That knife. Where did I put that knife? Oh yeah, here it is. So, okie dokie. Right. So let's just get the focus the camera down there where I'm at. Okay, there we go. You can see me down there. So, okay, so now these are all leather hard. Now this guy I have already put upside down on here, and I have just very lightly pared away the base here. Well, I've just really cleaned up that angle that we had, you know, the 45-degree angle on the base. Okay, so what I've now got to do is the lid. This is the lid, okay, and I've just got to trim the lid. So that's the next job. So yeah, okay, so tap center the lid till you'll satisfy these on center, and then with the trim tool we're going to pare away the clay here, because I want this to have like a domed lid, you understand? That's why I said, remember when we were throwing it, I said leave enough thickness there in the base. So sometimes these plastic bats on these kind of Shimpo wheels, they can tend to resonate, which I do not like. If you wet underneath, it tends to stop that resonation. Okay, so I'm looking in my mirror there because I want to get this a fairly nice, very shallow dome here. Now, because this lid, it doesn't have a knob on it on the top, you know, you're going to be able to lift it on and off of the teapot. It could slip out your hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add here to the side a few lines, which are going to slightly act as just something for your hand to grip on. You see, those 3 banded engraved lines that I did with the corner of the trimming tool. Okay. All right. So that's going to sit on there like that. The one thing I haven't done, and that is I haven't decided on the kind of handle I was going to put on here. Which could be a cane handle, or it could be a pulled handle. Okay, so here is the. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to. There's quite a lot of excess just here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut that away. You see, like that. Okay. Now it's very important when you're making a teapot that where the spout is, obviously you don't want the spout down here, because you can't fill the teapot out because it'll just pour out the spout. So you've got to get the teapot, this angle, you see, that you cut this at right. Now I know from a bit of experience what that angle is, and it's something like that. Alright? You see that line I'm cutting? So I'm just going to cut all the way around, and that's going to give me something looking like that. So that, if you can appreciate, I'm going to offer that up to the teapot, and that's going to go on there like that, and I think you'll agree with me that that's about the right angle that it should be. What the next thing I'm going to do here is, though, I'm going to dip the spout here in some water. So I just want it to soften up a little bit. Okay, so just dipping that in my water pot, and I'm going to place that now here in a position that gives me the correct height here in relation to the amount of tea that is inside, the amount of lapsang souchong, or whatever is your poison or your delight, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so after I've wet it, I offer it up and I just push it onto the teapot like that, and because I've wet it, it leaves a mark. I don't know if you can see the mark, but it's definitely, I can see very clearly, it's left a mark. So, alright, now that I've got that mark in position there, I'm now going to get my hole borer, this guy, and I'm going to, let me just move around a touch. I'm going to put some holes for the tea to flow out of. I'm basically making the strainer at this point here. Now I don't know how many holes I usually put in, probably something like a dozen, or less actually. You just want to have enough so that the tea can flow out easily. You don't want to have holes that are so small that when you glaze the inside of the teapot, the glaze completely clogs the holes. Okay, there you can see, in fact that is, that's 10 holes, isn't it? Yeah, 3 and 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 holes, that's probably sufficient. Okay, so the next thing that we've got to do here is we have to score around where the teapot spout is going to join up. So what I do is this. This is one thing I don't use my fingernails for. I use a tool and I scratch here all around where the heel of the teapot is going to join up. All right, just nice crisscross. Like that. All right, can you see that? I've done it a bit lopsided, haven't I? I was concentrating on trying to give you a bird's eye view, and I. Alright, what I usually do now is with some slip, and I don't know if I've even got any slip here at the moment. Well, basically, what we're going to do is we're going to damp all around there where we have scratched it. Okay. And you can dampen, if you've got a little bit of soft clay, you can just rub that into the scratchings that you've made. Alright, like that. Now, with the spout that you wet earlier, okay, just give it another final dip. It's important to get this here sort of soft and malleable so that you can smooth it into the body of the teapot. Okay, I'm going to try and do this or show you what I'm doing here. So this now goes over there. Now you be careful to get it so the holes, line up with the spout. Okay, and having done that, we're now going to give it a little bit of pressure around where it's to join all the way around. Look at it frequently to make sure that it hasn't gone skew, but it's still straight. Okay, you want to make sure that you get a good join. I'm going to take the lid off, put it over there because we don't want it to fall off and get damaged. Alright, so take a bit of care with this. You get it nicely. I think the expression is looted up. What I've just been doing there is looting. Which is not some sort of pottery robbery, but it is attaching, when you score and then you add another piece of clay on, we call it looting. There's looting and fluting, pooping and snooting. Sorry, just trying to do some rhymes there. Okay, so I see. Look, there's a dent in the side of the teapot there. Now you see, when you're working with clay like we are, you will find that inadvertently you hit it on something, or your fingernail gouges it, or there's a multitude of things that can happen to your pot meanwhile you're working at it. So it's constantly you're making little repair jobs, you see, like what I'm doing here. So if you have a little nick in it like that or something, don't panic. Just simply damp it, wet it, get a bit of soft clay and just smooth it in. And you'll find that that won't be a problem. Okay, so I've luted the spout here into the, or joined it up. Okay, so what we're going to do now is, with a sponge, we're going to just wipe over the join here, making sure that it's, you know, when you've been working with clay, it's nice to be able to work cleanly, isn't it, and get the job done with the minimum fuss. You know, putting on a spout is a little bit one of the more fussy jobs that one has to do in pottery, and inevitably you need to just give it a little sponge over when you've finished. So that's that. La 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 la. Now what I need to do is I need to actually cut the spout. Before I cut it, I'm just going to dip it. And what I'm doing is I'm actually looking for a knife that's got a thin blade to it, because I actually want a thin blade for this. I'm just wondering, sometimes these kind of knives, the blade is not as I like. And a thin blade is desirable, very thin, fine. I hope I've got one. I mean, I hope I can do this now, as I've got this far. I'll demonstrate that, because right. Well, I'm gonna have to use my penknife on this one. I think it's my best bet. Anyway, what I want to do is now, because I don't leave the excuse me, I don't leave the spout like that. I cut it off, you see, at an angle. Now, generally speaking, things that are thrown in the firing process, they do up. If you can imagine a screw thread, it's like it just turns a little bit. So the best thing is to cut it a little bit, very slightly, on the left side of horizontal. So if we're looking at our spout, just so that you can understand this, if this ruler demonstrates or shows what is horizontal, what we need to do is cut it a little bit like that. You see what I mean? So we cut it at that angle, and then in the firing it'll do up and straighten up. That's the theory anyway. I can't say, in all honesty, making teapots, that I've really noticed a really big difference there, but anyway. So now just cut this, and be careful as you cut it. And I support it, you see, with this finger on the other side there, where your finger, so the blade runs right over your finger and puts a nice cut in it. No, be careful it doesn't, but keep your finger there. It supports the other edge of the clay, because it could break away as the knife blade comes through. Alright? So there it is. That's what we've just cut off. That little bit. What I've got to do now is sort of tidy it up, because obviously at the moment it's looking a little ragged. So using the knife here, I'm just making it look a little tidier. I used to watch my dad doing these. My father used to like making teapots. It was one of the things in pottery that he really liked doing was making teapots, especially porcelain teapots. So now this bit here now, the sort of finishing off of the spout. I'll just get the light on the subject of it. You know, what we want to do is try and get a teapot that doesn't dribble as much as possible. It's not easy. There is a science to it, for sure. Sort of getting it so that it cuts off the drop, you know, that last drop of tea. So, well, right, so where's the lid? I'm actually, you know what, you know the lid here, you see how the angle here is? This angle here I'm talking about, you see that angle? It's not horizontal, is it? Like that, is down. So I actually really need to trim this bit here so that it's like that, and that's what I'm going to have to do now, quickly. So just clearing a space here a second. What we're going to do is we're going to put that teapot back on the wheel like that, and going to centre him up as best we can, taking care not to get myself. Alright, that'll do. And put him back on there like that, till he's on centre. Press him down a little bit. Now with the trim tool, what we're going to do is we're going to remove a little bit of that. So we're going to get that angle. So it's going to sit nicely on here. Now you may think it looks a bit hair-raising doing this, but a little practice will make a daredevil of you. Okay, so now that has had the angle, what I just explained, the angle So that will sit on there now better than before. This lid is not a tight fitting lid. It doesn't matter to me that the lids have to be exactly sort of precision engineered fits, to be honest with you. I don't like them too sloppy, but I don't mind a little bit of slop like that for a pottery teapot. I think that's okay. Okay, so basically what we're waiting for now, what to do, is either to put a couple of lugs on or to put on some other kind of handle. Well, time is running out, folks. It doesn't look like I'm going to get that accomplished in this clip. But anyway, I just wanted to show you there the putting together of these three pieces: the spout, the lid to the body, and just talking around that. Let's say a little bit of the mechanics of how a teapot comes together. Of course, it's important to put the spout on, so so when the teapot here is full of tea here, it's not pouring out the spout. At least not until you're ready to pour your cup of tea. Okay. So I'm Leach here saying, keep practicing. See you soon. Bye bye.